Let's take what we've learned about event handling in this chapter and build a practical example. And what we're going to do is build a function that automatically stripes and hover highlights a table. So let me show you the finished result first. I'm going to bring this up in the browser. And pardon my garish colors. I need to make sure that they're visible on the monitor. But you can see that I have a table here inside the browser. And what I'm doing is striping the tables automatically. This is being done by jQuery. And you can also see that as I hover over the rows in the table, we're seeing a highlight effect. And this is all being accomplished with jQuery. So we're going to write some jQuery code to do this automatically. So let's close this down. What I'm going to do is open up the start version of the file and bring that up in my editor. So let's take a look at the design view really quick. You can see that in the design view, those stripes are not there. It's just a plain table and it's got some content in it. So let's go back to the source. What we're going to do first is define some styles that will represent the stripes and the highlighting behavior. So let's begin by writing a class named stripe1. And in stripe1, we're simply going to set the background color to, I'm just going to make some color that's going to be the stripe1, and then we'll do something similar for stripe2. And we'll call this one stripe2, and this one will be a little bit different. And again, you can change the colors to look a lot better. So those are the stripes. Then we need to define the style for the highlight. So I'm going to write the highlight style. And the highlight style is going to set the background color again. So the background color will be, I'll just define some hex value. And we'll give the font weight bold. Okay, so now we've defined our styles. So this will be the style that gets applied to the rows in alternating fashion. And when the mouse is hovered over a table row, that's the highlight that will be applied. Okay, so now we need to write the script for this. So we're going to go back up to the top of the document. And here I've included my jQuery library. And I've got a function for when the page loads. So when the page loads, we need to set up the striping. So what we're going to do, and you can see down here by the table has an ID associated with it. So in our jQuery, we will simply write a query that gets the table, and it's named the list. And inside the table, we're going to start off by striping the even rows. So we're going to get all table rows that are even, and we're drawing on our filtering and selecting knowledge here. And we're going to write add class. And the add class, recall from the CSS lesson, allows us to dynamically add a class to an element. And we'll simply add the stripe1 class. And we'll do the exact same thing for the odd number of rows. Only in that case, we'll do stripe2. So that will stripe the table. Let's save. And now let's jump out to the browser and see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up in the browser. And sure enough, you can see that the striping is taking effect. So let's try this in Firefox. Okay, we'll try it in another browser here. And same behavior. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's go back to the code and add the hovering effect. So here we are back in the code, and now what I'm going to do is define the hovering effect. And same thing. Now for every table row, what we're going to do is use the hover convenience function. And remember that the hover function takes two functions. The function that we want to execute when the mouse enters, and the function that we want to execute when the mouse leaves. So what we're going to do is inside the enter function, we're going to say this, remember, and this refers to the table row because that's what we're selecting. So this dot toggle class, and the class we're going to toggle is the highlight class. So remember, toggle class adds a class onto the element if it's not there and takes it off if it is there. Nice little convenience function. And we're basically going to do the exact same thing in this function here. So now when we hover, we're going to highlight the row in question and unhighlight it when the mouse moves out. So let's save. Then go back to IE. Okay, now we're going to refresh. And you can see that we've now added a nice little hover behavior. Now let's go to Firefox. And we'll refresh the page. And same behavior. So you can see how easy it is to build some nice cross-browser behavior using just a few lines of code. Let's go back to the code really quick. You can see that this took less than 10 or so lines of code in order to accomplish. That about covers it for events. Let's move on to our next chapter.